All right, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on our call today. My name is Carrie Lee Auger, and I am the Skills Development Officer here at Women's Enterprise Center. I develop and deliver our training and mentoring programs to help women entrepreneurs throughout BC, working out of our head office here in Kelowna. We also have satellite offices in Vancouver, Victoria, and the Tri-Cities where we have people working. And Albina, who's joining us today, is actually in our Vancouver office. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Just a quick agenda. I'll start just telling you a little bit about Women's Enterprise Center and the services we provide. I'll introduce our panelists, and then we'll get started right in with our discussion, followed by a Q&A session. So please be sure to have a pen and paper ready to jot down your questions, and we'll try and address those at the end or intermittently as we go through the call. We want to cover as many as we can, and if you have any unanswered questions at the end of the call, please send those to Caitlin, and we will summarize those in a follow-up email. So Women's Enterprise Center is the leading business resource center for aspiring and established women business owners here in BC. We provide business loans of up to $150,000, skills training through live workshops and online webinars, mentoring through peer groups and also one-to-one formats, business advisory services, and resources from our offices that I mentioned earlier. Our passion is to empower entrepreneurs to their business success, and a lot of the services that we provide are a free service to you, so be sure to go on our website, womensenterprise.ca, and check out the services that are available for you. We're a nonprofit organization funded by the federal government through Western Economic Diversification, and we're part of a Women's Enterprise Initiative, which includes similar organizations in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. And to stay informed of what's happening in your specific area and to learn more about our services, please go to, as I said, womensenterprise.ca and sign up for our e-news and e-blasts. So the topic today, embracing awards opportunities. Have you ever been nominated, weren't sure how to leverage that opportunity? Have you ever considered nominating yourself but lacked the confidence to do so? Or have you been overwhelmed by the requirements of a nomination package? Didn't know if it was the right time for your company. So today we're hoping to answer some of those questions and help you discover how you can use an award nomination to benefit your business, identify ways that you can write a winning nomination by choosing the right category and engaging a support network around you, and what are some of the different types of awards that you can apply for being a women entrepreneur. So joining me on the call today, I am pleased to have Bridget Field, who is the Client Services Manager for Small Business BC, and she works out of Vancouver. Alpana Sharma is our Communications Coordinator here at WEC, and she does a lot to support women entrepreneurs with award nominations within our organization. And one of our clients, Megan Hughes, who's the owner of Cottage Quilting here in Kelowna, a business she purchased in 2013. And she has been a participant in many awards, so she's going to give us that firsthand knowledge of being a women entrepreneur that has embraced award opportunities. So I'll let each of you introduce yourselves and tell us a bit about your role, your work, and your involvement with Women Entrepreneur Awards, and then we'll get into our discussion. And this really is going to be a conversation today about award opportunities and how you can leverage them. So Bridget, why don't we go ahead with you?
Oh, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for having me today, Women's Enterprise Center. I really appreciate it. So I'm the Client Services Manager here at Small Business BC, and we're a resource center for entrepreneurs in British Columbia who want to start, grow, and be successful in small business. So we have a variety of different services, advisory services, one-on-one. We also have education in the form of seminars and webinars. My role here is really working directly with the client services team, delivering services to entrepreneurs. And we also run an awards, the Small Business BC Awards competition, which is normally launched around October 1st every year and runs until December, and then we have our gala and celebration and recognition of winners in February. So I've been involved in the judging of that competition since its inception, and we just had our 15th annual this past February. So that's me. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm really excited to hear everybody's questions today.
Great. Thank you, Bridget. Just a reminder, we're getting just a little bit of background noise for those of you calling in and joining us today, either to mute your phone or just *6 will mute you on and off. Thank you very much. So, Megan, why don't we go ahead and you can tell us a little bit about your history after purchasing your business in 2013 and what cottage quilting does.
Okay, great, ladies. Thanks for including me in this. It's an honor. We purchased our store in 2013, and we're very different than the former owners, so we really wanted to let people know how we were. And so one of the easiest ways, and a lot of the easiest ways to get free media coverage, was applying for awards and for participating in as many programs as we could. So we've done a fairly decent job in trying to get as much free advertising and stuff, which going through the awards programs really allows. We've had the store now for 5 years, and the store is just exploding. We've taken it from ground level up, and we just kind of keep continuing to go that way. I do think it's super important to be involved with women's enterprise, your local chamber, anything like that, that gets you out into the community a little bit, and as many community programs as you can embrace as well. And I hope to be doing it for a little while longer.
That's great. Thank you very much. And Alpana.
Thank you, Kerry Lee. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alpana Sharma. I'm the Communications Officer at Women's Enterprise Center, based in our Vancouver office. I am also the social media lead for Women's Enterprise Center, and I also help our team with our different mentoring programs, whether it's group or one-to-one. So really excited to be part of this mentor advisory forum today.
Great. Perfect. Thank you so much. So I have some questions that were submitted by our audience, so we'll address some of those as well. So I think what we'll start with is why self-promotion is important for women business owners. So Alpana, I'm going to get you to start maybe what you've seen from the side of supporting our clients and what you've learned in doing some of those nomination packages. So what's the outcomes when some of that self-promotion happens? What do you see happening for those women business owners?
I think it's a great, awards are an excellent chance to get your name out there, whether it's you're nominating yourself or you're nominating someone. And it's a great opportunity. For example, today in the morning I attended a networking event which was organized by Women of Influence, awards that RBC does. And those were all the nominees, all the participants today in that event were the nominees. And it was such a good opportunity for each of them to get the word out, network with other women, because they're still in the nomination phase. So I think it's very, very important. It provides a lot of opportunity to women entrepreneurs.
And Megan, what have you found? You've been involved in quite a few awards, which we'll get into a bit later too, but why do you feel that's such an important piece of, and I'm going to call it part of your marketing plan, because it really should be part of that strategy to get your name out there. So maybe you can tell us what you found by getting involved in the awards.
I think by getting involved in the awards, it allows you to grow a little bit. Like, not only are you getting the advertising through a much larger forum, because as a small business owner, we have to be honest, we don't have a huge budget usually for advertising. But right. when you're participating through the chamber or small business or women's enterprise, their budgets are a little bit larger and they're hitting more people. The networking tool is really, really powerful as well, and it's really hard to throw yourself out there. I remember one of the first network, it was for one of the awards, and we had to go to a winery, and I was so nervous, and I was like, you can do this. So I literally would walk up to people and put my hand out and say, my name's Megan, I own Cottage Quilting, what do you do? And that was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. But that networking was so important, and it taught me a lot. I got some great advice on how to win awards from previous winners. I met some ladies that were part of an HR group that I've become friends with that if I needed assistance or help. So these awards have opened up so many doors and so many opportunities for me personally, for my business, and the networking and the free advertising that goes along with it is priceless as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. And Bridget, what about from your side of it as the judge, a completely different perspective? We've got 3 different perspectives on the phone, which I love. How do you see it as a benefit when you're going through and looking at the people that apply for the Small Business BC Awards, and what have you seen as some of the outcomes for those nominees?
Yeah, I've seen really positive outcomes because I think you have to look at it a little bit this way. Self-promotion is really an exercise in leadership. And as an entrepreneur, you do not want to be taking a back seat when trying to advance your enterprise, so you want to capitalize on every opportunity that you have. And you want to believe in yourself and become a sort of a leader within your sphere to the point where others will believe in you and support your work as well, right? So, you're all doing really great things and should be recognized for it. So, I have seen fantastic benefits, both for nominees, finalists, and winners. You don't necessarily have to win the award to benefit from it, because a lot of what Megan was saying is it's kind of, I don't want to use the word forcing you, but it's inspiring you to get out there, network, attend, network with other entrepreneurs, learn from them. So there's a lot of ancillary benefits, I guess I would say. It's not just necessarily about winning the award. It's the process as well, and interacting with the judges, interacting with the organizations like RBC or ourselves or other awards sponsors as well, and getting to know those organizations is just another benefit as well.
Yeah. And Megan, when we spoke earlier, you spoke about the benefits of actually completing the nomination package and things that you learned about yourself and your business doing that process. Can you just, talk to our audience a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think it's really important when you're reading the nomination package to read through it and then reflect. Don't answer anything right away, because you really want to make sure that you're answering each question individually and not constantly repeating yourself. I think branding is really important. So constantly saying Cottage Quilting did this, not I, because it's, yes, I did it, but it's my company and my vision, and so Cottage Quilting as a whole was participating in this. And I tried to be as specific as possible when I was answering questions. So what was something that I achieved, and how did I change the business, and what were some of the growths? I would take a day or two to actually think about it, write my answer, and then move on to the next question. So I don't think it's something that you want to rush through in the process. You really want to take your time and think about it, put your logo everywhere, have somebody else read through it, make sure it makes sense, it's not too repetitive, and it takes time and thought, I think, to do it properly.
And Alpina, maybe you can elaborate on that a bit. You've completed quite a few nomination packages. What should people be looking for potentially, and I know this is going to vary depending on the award, but what is the kind of time commitment? What information should you anticipate having ready so that you can, as Megan says, read it over, reflect, and then spend some time? Do you have any tips for women as they kind of maybe potentially embrace their first award opportunity?
Yeah, so one of the things to keep in mind is to read the question properly, what exactly are they asking, and then respond specifically to that question and not be repetitive. For example, if they have a question about, usually you will find those nomination packages will ask about what impact your business has on your community. If you find such a question, address specifically that question. Also, another tip I would say is that do not be shy. List your awards and nomination.
Yes.
And tell a powerful story, tell your story, because our story always has much more impact. So write a good story, and like Megan said, spend a little bit of time, write a good story that judges want to hear about your business journey. So put some thought into it and then complete your package.
Okay, great. And Bridget, maybe your thoughts on that. You've seen lots of packages come in. What are some of the things that have stood out to you in both a positive way and then potentially a negative way, like some of the, really the to-dos and the to-don'ts of filling out a package?
Sure. So when our particular awards, it's a three-stage process. So the first stage is just basically self-nomination or third-party nominations, where you get to actually post information on the Small Business BC Awards website about the company with a link to your website, and you can even, upload video and things like that. So that's just a fantastic promotional stage. But do a good job of even that initially. And that's really a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you? We get tens of thousands of visitors to that website. It's a great way to promote your company, even if you don't get into the top 10 into the next stage. So I would say, do a really good job of that right from the get-go, because that's where, that's the voting part of the competition for our awards anyway. The extended application, so in our awards, and probably some of the other awards you will come across, there will be categories. We have 10 different categories. So it's very important to read the criteria and understand that the questions that they're asking you in the extended application goes right back to that criteria. Okay? So you need to be addressing the criteria. And I think one of the things that I see, again, going back to what Alpana said, is don't be afraid to brag about your company and yourself and your accomplishments. Provide specific examples. If the criteria question is asking you for metrics, provide a metric in the form of a number, or how the impact can be measured, how many people you reached, how many awards you've been recognized by. We even have had, in Best Employer, information about your health, occupational health and safety, metrics. So how many accident-free years have you had? So be very specific and understand that the questions are there to make sure that you're addressing the criteria as set out by that award category.
Okay. And then what if you don't meet 100% of the eligibility criteria? There's a statistic out there, I think it's if there's a job posting and there's 10 requirements for the job, men will apply if they've got 5 or 6, and women will only apply if they've got like the 9 or 10. Do you see that happening in the awards? And what should people consider if they don't meet that 100% criteria? Is it worth them submitting that? And I'll defer that to you, Bridget.
I would say absolutely. Give it your best step. And you know what? If you meet 80 or 70% of the criteria, you can still be a contender. And dig a little deep. Like sometimes you think you don't meet the criteria, but there may be some activity that you're doing in the community that you don't even really think of as meeting that community criteria requirement. It's just something you do as part of your business. So sometimes, you may not meet it 100%. I mean, there are some things that are an absolute. So if the category requires you to be less than 24 months in business because it's a best concept category, or that you have to have more than 5 employees or something like that, then that's, pretty hard to get around, because that's tough. But if it's, have you been involved in any programming in your community, you might think, oh, well, we really didn't do anything this last year. You may have, and you just have to kind of figure out what that is. But I would say by all means, because there's a lot of people who enter that don't meet all of the criteria and still become a finalist or even a winner. So it's definitely worth it, and you're still going through that exercise of completing the nomination package, and that's a good exercise for you to go through.
Okay, great. So Megan, I'm going to go back to you now. You've been nominated for awards, and you've won some awards, and you have not won some awards. So can you tell me kind of what happened after one of the times when you didn't win? Was that still a good outcome for you and your business?
One of the times I didn't win, I was a finalist, and I apprehensive that I was going to win because I had won before, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I should apply anyways, but I did just because I know the value of nominating myself, and it helps you reflect and keep your business going, I think, in kind of the right direction because you're constantly reevaluating and constantly double-checking, am I doing the right thing? Am I going down the right path? Am I seeing the growth that I'm going down? So that's why I think even though I didn't win, I was still participating in that process of that self-evaluation and making sure that I was on track and I was doing the right thing. So I was disappointed, of course, like really disappointed. But I was devastated, I think, because I allowed myself to look at the process and go, you know what, I'm actually doing really good. I still got the recognition that I am actually doing really good. Like I made top 3 out of hundreds of people that had applied for this position. So it's okay to not win. It's a positive experience. I got some further networking out of it. I met some additional people. I got to enjoy a nice dinner. I got my name in the newspaper, all over the media. So there's still many added benefits to the not winning.
Yeah, perfect. So, Alpana, maybe we'll go to you because you've done so many award nominations yourself. How do you find out about the different types of awards? What's the best resource? I know we have a few on our website about, why nominate yourself, some tips and tricks, and we're hoping to put together kind of a list as well. But right now, if somebody wanted to go out and find out about different types of awards, what do you recommend is kind of their first step?
I would say that spend a little bit of time researching some of the organizations in the province. A lot of those organizations have awards, like a Small Business BC award. So subscribe to their newsletters. That way you don't have to keep on checking. Once the nomination deadline is coming closer, those organizations usually send out newsletters, e-blasts. So that would be one important thing to do. If you really want to apply for the awards, subscribe to some of the service providers. You can go to our website or you can go to a Small Business BC website, and on our website you will find a list of women's organizations. Take a look at those, find out if they have some award categories, and go and subscribe to the newsletter. So that's one way you will stay updated about what's coming up.
Yeah, and there could be some industry-specific awards as well, right? For, women in tech or women in manufacturing, things like that. So if you're involved in an industry organization or association, those are great ways as well.
Yeah.
And Bridget, I know you said you have your annual awards as well. How can you, and maybe Alpana, you can speak to this as well, because I know yours, you get so many nominees and in there. How do you find that the people that have been nominated and make it, to that top 10, what have you seen as being the most effective ways for them to communicate and get the votes? Because that one is that the public can go and vote as well. So
yes. Yeah. So from the large pool of nominees, it is to get into the top 10, it's based on votes. And I will say for the smaller communities, we do a normalization of the votes. So if you're in Nelson versus British Columbia, and it's based on population. So we do a normalization calculation so that, 10 votes in Vancouver, equals 1, 10 votes in, a larger community can equal, 1 vote in a smaller community kind of thing. So it is very fair across all of British Columbia. But once you're there, we've had, we open the nominations October 1st and it goes to the middle of December. Some companies get their business up there and nominated in multiple categories. You don't have to just be in one category. So any of the categories that you meet the criteria, you can nominate yourself in or have a third-party nomination. And then you really need to work your social media channels to get your customers, your colleagues, your city, your community to vote. It takes 2 seconds to just vote for you. So it's 1 vote per IP address. And that's also communicating about your business as well. So through that promotional period. And interestingly enough, we really encourage people to enter early, so they can take advantage of the voting period. But even businesses that really know how to work it, even if they nominate themselves in the last week, they've managed to get into the top 10 because they've really worked their network. And so, like, don't give up. Like, some people say, oh, is it too late to nominate in, the final week? And I'm like, absolutely not. Like, if you can work your social media networks and get people to come and vote for you, then you can still be in the top 10. So we've seen that happen time and time again. But I guess the best strategy would be to enter early, for sure.
Okay, great. And I'm just going to open up. We're kind of at the halfway mark here, so I want to open up to the audience. So remember, if you've muted to unmute. Are there any questions anybody wants to pipe up and ask on the call this morning? Silence. Unmute yourself. We'll have another break for questions as well. So Bridget, I wanted to go back to you in our discussion prior to the event. We spoke about if you become one of those finalists and there is what we would call kind of the pitch session or a presentation session, what are some tips in preparing for that, and what are the judges looking to see? They've read your package, they know a little bit about yourself. What are they looking for, and what could you do maybe to differentiate yourself and stand out from the rest of the nominees?
Yeah, so I would really encourage anybody who gets into the top 5 and now they're going to be presenting in front of the panel judges to bring something to, so it's a 10-minute pitch, so bring something to that pitch presentation that wasn't in your package or would really complement what was in your package. So obviously you're going to put the most information about your package, but you really need to bring something more that the judges wouldn't necessarily know. So we've seen examples where business owners who were going for best employers have brought employees along, and those employees will talk about why they think their employer is the best employer. We've had product demonstrations. We've had a variety of very creative ways where you're able to come off the paper, right? So your paper application doesn't have all the personality. So I would definitely say talk about, the pitch is the opportunity to say, okay, we're in the top 5 now, which is, fantastic, but why we should win. So what really differentiates us, and really, speak to the main points of that criteria. If it's best innovation, talk about innovation. If it's about community impact, really talk about that community impact. And we don't want the pitch really to just be a repetition of what was in your extended application on paper, because you've got 10 minutes to really impress the judges. So utilize that time, and know that usually with pitch presentations, well, ours in particular, there is a Q&A after your pitch presentation. So 10 minutes isn't really very long to get everything that you would want to get across, and the judges know the questions to ask, and it'll be very telling, and then you can actually bring more to the table based on the questions that they may be asking for either clarification or more information. So there's great opportunity, because at the top 5, really the companies are pretty close. So that, your ability to talk about your company, and, a lot of entrepreneurs are different in person than they are in paper, and it can sometimes be surprising. A very impressive written package, sometimes the entrepreneur doesn't really bring to the table everything that would be anticipated, and then there's others that are so fantastic in person and so impressive and able to talk about their business and what they bring to the table.
Great. And then in that pitch and that presentation, is it important for them to go back again and look at the category that they're nominated for and those criteria and really focus on those criteria? Or are you looking for something a little different? I'm getting visions of Dragon's Den in my head right now where sometimes it's, those crazy questions about, finances and margins. Yes. And is that something, does it depend on the award category and the criteria for winning the award, or should you kind of be prepared and to answer any questions that might come in?
I think they're going to probably stick to the award criteria, but do be prepared to ask some of those questions that maybe you didn't fully answer in your package that the judges want to follow up on. So if they're looking for, best company, they may ask some questions about financials. They may ask about things like scalability. So you want to be able to be prepared to answer those questions. So I would say, have your cheat sheet, your notes, your, the things that you may get asked, but really by that point, you've probably answered almost everything in your extended application. So again, bring something different to the pitch that they wouldn't necessarily know. It's your opportunity to shine, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. And then, Megan, we spoke briefly about when you didn't win the award. What have been some of the benefits of participating? I'm just thinking back to, and again, one of the things that Alpina mentioned was looking at the Chamber of Commerce. At the recent ones here in Kelowna, there were video segments done and things like that. What have been some of the additional benefits that you maybe weren't expecting from going through the nomination process? And how have you leveraged a win that you've had?
Yeah, that's a great question. Anything that we gain from it, like the video packages and stuff that you were talking about, they're all professionally done. A media company actually came to our store, and I made sure that all the customers that were in the store, if they were okay, if they were on camera, and would they be okay if it was posted to YouTube and anything like that. Because we're in such a electronic era right now where everything is on the internet, everything is on YouTube, you can source everything like that. It is so easy now to put yourself out there. So on our About Us page, I've done a little photo and something fun about each of us, right? Something fun that we like to do. So it's just not all about our skills and our techniques. And then you get to see us in action because we've posted those YouTube videos right onto our About Us page. Because like Bridget was saying, I'm okay at writing a paper, but what you're going to get is me. And that's the biggest difference between us and our competitors when you walk into our store is the environment. So it reinforces how fantastic we are, how fantastic our environment is, and why it's fun to come to our store instead. Where if we didn't get the benefits of that video, people wouldn't know. We would just be another quilt store. But we're not. Because now you can see before you even get there because you probably Googled us and wanted to find out where we were. And then you're like, oh, there's a YouTube video. Let me click on that. So, and it also taught me quite a bit about what a good YouTube video is and what a poor YouTube video is because there's lots of bad ones out there.
Yeah.
So when you can see the process, the whole process teaches you so much. It's super valuable as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Okay, great. And I'll open it up again to the audience, again, for any questions. I know we've covered a lot already this morning, but yes, *6 or unmute your phone, and we will open it up to any questions again for a moment. Don't be shy. You can jump in. It's too quiet, too quiet. Okay, great. I'm just looking through our questions. I know we've covered a lot. Bridget, Megan, Alpina, do you have anything you want to add to the conversation? Any points maybe that we haven't covered already?
I would just like to add to that. I think it's really important to at every stage of the competition to know who the sponsor is, who's the host basically of the awards, who the sponsor of the category is. Also, when you're going in front of the judges, because there's usually a judges tab on our awards page, so get to know who those judges are. I think that is a good thing to know who's going to be judging and what organization are they from, KPMG, or we have Women's Enterprise on our judging panel as well. So know who those folks are. If you do win and you're at a gala, and you go up to the stage and you're thanking your employees and you're thanking, it's also really great to recognize the sponsor of the award, to know that there was, TELUS was the sponsor or WorkSafe was the sponsor, because I think that really, I think the sponsor of the award competition or the sponsor of the category wants to know that you know that they were behind that particular award. So I think that's something that entrepreneurs want to do, because that company usually wants to, that sponsored category would like to connect with you, right? And it just makes them easier for them to do that, make you more approachable. Yep. And then the other thing that I just wanted to talk about was the impact, to get back sort of to the marketing. Yes. And using. So I would encourage anybody who's on the call today, if you haven't visited the Small Business BC Awards website, to go and take a look at the pages where all the winners are. So yes, there's the winner, the winning entrepreneurs, their faces up there, but right below it are all the top 5 companies, the top 5 finalists, with links to their website, their company names. So there's fantastic exposure there. And I mean, we send out images of your branding, pictures from the awards through all of our email communications. It goes out to over 11,000 people. We have dedicated social media posts sent out to audiences. We have over 36,000 followers across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So even if you don't win, if you're a finalist, you definitely got a lot of exposure. And this year's winner from the Best Marketer Award, he said, and I know earlier Megan was saying, that exposure is priceless. Well, he put a price on it, and he said it was hundreds of thousands of dollars in marketing, thanks to the awards. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you actually can put a value on it, and don't underestimate that exposure. And if you get, I really liked what Megan was saying, is that in her About Us, she talks about their exposure and things like that. We provide an electronic little award emblem, winner, finalist, category. Put that ribbon up on your website under your About Us. Put it on your marketing materials. We also provide decals. If you've got a storefront location, put that up as well. So, loud and proud. Yes. Let the world know.
The awards that I won, I actually posted them, like I had a little shelf in the store, and I had any newspaper article. My customers are fantastic. They framed them for me, and like the 40 under 40 can quilt, and when we won top 4 under 40, you know what I mean, like things like that. Like the bragging about yourself is so important. And I think too, when you're going to the galas, even if you're not confident in yourself, that you're not sure that you're going to win, still prepare a speech.
Oh, that's good, Megan. I was going to bring that up. Keep going. Yeah.
First, getting up there and being like, I didn't think I was going to win, then why are you here? Like, you want to win. So you go and you put your best foot forward, and you go in and you be proud, and you say, yeah, I knew I was going to win. And if you didn't win, well, you got a good reflection piece about yourself. Like it's huge. Go in with confidence.
Yeah.
I would like to add a point about when you are putting the nomination packet together. If you can, tap into your network and see if you can connect with a few award winners. They can really give you good input on how to put the nomination package together. And also, if you are going to pitch in front of judges, prepare well. Practice and record yourself. Have a time, how much time are you going to get, like 10 minutes in front of judges? So practice that and record yourself and watch it and see where you are fumbling, what improvements you need to do. Are you focusing on what the judges would be looking for? If you practice well, you will do a good pitch in front of the judges. So it's really important to prepare your package well, whether it's pitching in front of judges or putting the application.
Yeah.
And I would add to that, too, that I think it's really important from a judging perspective, or being on many of these panels, that we the judges want to get to know you, the entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. So make sure business owner or business owners are presenting and not your marketing department. So we've had scenarios where the business owner has sent in their marketing department to say why the company should win the award, and there's just that disconnect from the entrepreneur. So we definitely want to hear from the owner or owners of the company.
Okay. Good points from everyone. Thank you. And I know, too, Megan, you're talking everything's digital now and having your video, and it's all also about that SEO, right? So sometimes having those links, like Bridget, you said you can put this, Small Business Award winner, if you have that logo and link back on your website, having some of those external links as well is great for you and your business and your marketing as well. So it's interesting because I'm thinking about this, and then coming across and doing some of my research, there's a book called Brag, The Art of Tooting Your Own Horn Without Blowing It. So I think that's a good, to me that speaks to women. And another topic that we focus on a lot here with women entrepreneurs and here at Women's Enterprise Center is imposter syndrome, right? So feeling like you're not deserving, you feel like you're a bit of a fraud. People in the room are going to find out that you're not as great as you're being made out to be. So I think some of that comes into play as well, right? It's that self-confidence piece. And I know, Megan, when we spoke, you said, going through the process, that was kind of maybe initially your first thought. And when then you started writing your reports, you're like, no, I actually have a good business here. We are doing good things. I'm supporting the community. So I think, just going through this whole process, whether you nominate yourself or someone else nominates you, will give you that little confidence boost as well. So like Megan says, she does it, has done it a few times now, and every time it's, are you following the strategy that you set for your business? Are you doing the right things? And maybe it'll help you uncover some things that you should be addressing in your business, because we know a lot of the times, especially women entrepreneurs, we get so busy working in our business day to day to make everything run, wearing all those different hats. You sometimes forget to take a step back and actually work on your business from the higher level, like looking over everything. So I think, nominating and filling out a nomination package is also a great tool in your kind of strategic planning for the business.
Yeah, I do think that, because it makes you reflective, and it helps keep you on track for sure. It really does.
Yeah. All right, so we had some last points. Per my notes, we've kind of covered off the topics we wanted to answer today for the women on the call. So again, I'll open it up if we have any questions from the audience. You can unmute your phone or press *6 if you've used the conference line mute. Silence again. I'm hoping that means everybody's questions were answered and nobody's too shy to step up and answer their questions. Again, the call has been recorded, so you can definitely go on and join it after. So I think we're a little bit early, but I'll wrap up this morning. So thanks for the last comments, Bridget, Megan, and Alpana. And thank you so much for joining us and sharing the 3 different perspectives of the nomination process. And thank you for everyone on the call for joining us and sharing your time with us as well. After the call, we will send out a follow-up email. So we'll send some links to, again, Bridget mentioned the Small Business BC Awards, some of the resources on our website as well. And then on the imposter syndrome note, in May 28th, we're having an event in Vancouver featuring expert Dr. Valerie Young. So we'll send you some details on that as well, because she has a great talk on building your confidence as well.
Awesome. And
then, of course, we want your feedback on this call. We always ask you for topics that you're looking for us to have sessions like this on, so that we can support you as you build and grow your business. So please do take a moment to complete that and sign up for our e-news and e-blasts as well to find out about upcoming WEC events perhaps taking place in your community. So just quickly, if Megan, Alpana, Bridget has one, if you have a parting comment for our guests, please go ahead.
Sure, I'll finish up. Thank you for having Small Business BC today. And I guess what I would say just on this topic in general is oftentimes I get asked, well, why would I enter, an award, competition? And my answer always is, why wouldn't you? Like it's it doesn't cost anything other than your time, and your time is very valuable. But there's no entry fee or anything like that. I think there's only really positive reasons for doing it. So, when people say why, I say why not?
Perfect.
And I want to add a point, what Bridget was saying, yes, why not? And there is usually a window between the nomination phase and the actual awards announcement. So that's a great opportunity to use your nomination for your marketing purposes. Get the word out about your business. Usually there is 3-4 month window before they actually announce the awards for quite a few awards. So it's a great opportunity. So yes, as Bridget said, why not?
Perfect. And Megan, any last comments?
Yeah, and I think don't be afraid. I just applied something and actually got in at the top 3. I actually whooped when I was there. I was like, whoop!
Yes, and celebrate those successes, right? This is a great way to do that as well.
Yeah, we work so hard, and getting that pat on the back from someone else recognizing that you're doing a good job is so worth it. It really is.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you again, Bridget, Alpana, and Megan, for sharing your time and stories with us, and thank you for everyone joining us on the call. And we hope to see you May 28th in Vancouver, and watch for our follow-up email with lots more resources and information for you. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.